How's it going, guys? Today we are going to be putting a car from every era into a drag race to see how much F1 has evolved since 1950. Speaking of 1950, we start off with the Alfa Romeo 158, which is the first ever championship winning car. Let's see how it goes. So what I'm going to do to track it is I'm going to wait for the timer to hit 5 seconds and then go. Because in this drag race, the timer doesn't reset once you start. So we're just going to go from 5 seconds and then take 5 seconds away from the final time. So shifting into first gear for the first car, wait until 5 seconds and going. Not much acceleration at all off the line. Getting into second gear, reaching around 185 at the 500 meter mark. 245 as we go to the line. Final time is a 46.008. Let's move on to the next era. So now we move on to the next era of cars with the rear engine era. The car we're going to be using is the Lotus 25 because it was probably the most iconic car of that era. So the reason why it's iconic is because it had the first monocoque chassis in F1. Let's see how it does in this drag race. Wait until the 5 second mark at first gear. Again, very slow off the line, but now the car's starting to grip, gaining speed. Leave your guys' prediction in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win this? Reaching 230 at the 1 kilometer mark. Approaching the finish line. It is a 44.4. Move on to the next car. So now we move on to the Aero era, which basically introduced front wings and rear wings. And the car we're going to be using is the Lotus 72D, which basically introduced the concept of proper rear wings and front wings. Waiting for the 5 second mark. That felt a bit quicker than the previous car, and I forgot to mention it is yet another Lotus. This feels much quicker than before, already reaching 250, 270, 290 at the 1 kilometer mark, over 300. Approaching the finish line, 36.1. Let's move on to the next car. So we move on to the ground effect era with yet another Lotus in the form of the Lotus 79. This car basically perfected the ground era. Let's see how it does in a drag race. 2 seconds, 3, 4, 5. That was a pretty good getaway. That engine sounds amazing. And this car is also pretty fast, reaching 250 the 500 meter board. Can we reach 300? I don't think we can. 287, 288, 36.3. That's pretty similar to the Lotus 72D. Let's move on to the next era. So now we move on to the turbo era with the Mclaren MP4, arguably the most iconic car of all time, where it won 15 of 16 races in 1988 with Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost. Shifting up into first gear and go. I think I might have gone a bit early. Reaching 300 already. A 34.7. Not actually too much quicker than the previous cars, but I think the cars are going to start getting faster from here. So now we move on to the high-tech era. That wasn't actually the official name, but it didn't really have one. And the car we are using is a Williams FW14B, where Mansell won 9 races in 1992 with it claiming the championship. Let's wait for the 5 second mark, and go. Quite a fast initiation compared to before, and the acceleration is very good indeed. Maxing out already, but we are slightly gaining speed. A 32.0. Let's see if anything can beat it. So now we move on to the refueling era, where refueling was basically the deciding factor in races. And the car we are using is the Benetton B194, which is Michael Schumacher's first championship winning car. And go. That was a pretty good launch. I would say between the FW14B and the MP4-4. Decent acceleration, my wheel is vibrating quite a bit. Maxing out now around 306. Crossing the line, a 33.9. Let's see how the next car does. So now we move on to the groove tire era, also known as the V10 era, and we are in the Ferrari F2004, one of the most dominant cars of all time. Let's see how it does. I'm 99% sure this car's gonna win, but let's see. Very slow getaway off the line, probably because we're in first gear, but the acceleration after is just incredible. And now we've reached 7th gear, 370, 375, that is just insane. Across the line, a 30.5, that is crazy. Let's move on to the next car. Now we move to the V8 era with the Red Bull RB19, where Seb Vettel won 13 races in a single season. Let's see how it does in this drag race. As we go to 5 seconds now. I've got no idea why it has the Lewis Hamilton helmet. And this car introduced ERS. Now, we run out of ERS, letting the car do its thing. Reach out the end with a 32.6. Let's move on to the hybrid era. So now we move on to the hybrid era with the fastest car of all time, the Mercedes W11. But let's see if it's the fastest car in a straight line. Waiting for 5 seconds and go. A little bit on the slow initiation, but acceleration is very good. 340 now. A 31.1. Now let's move on to the penultimate era. So now we go back to the ground effect era, but we move forward to the Red Bull RB19, which is the most dominant car of all time. Let's see how it does. And go. One thing that I've realized is you don't have the hours on this track, so that So now let's move on to the current era of cars. So now we move on to the active aero era. Get that hard time fast. And we are in the W16, which is currently the championship leading car in the constructors thing. Let's see how it does in this drag race. I sort of don't want to do this because of the super clipping, but I kind of have to. Reaching. Already from max battery.
Battery drain, and now we super clipping at 1 kilometer. So for an entire kilometer, we are super clipping.
Across the line, not actually too bad at 32.1. So in the end, the F2004 wins this challenge. The final standings will be up on the screen. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.